Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Klausman here, back with another video. So today we're gonna go over my top 5 favorite monster sets for open world PvP. If you would do me a favor, give me a like, a comment, and a subscribe. That would help out a lot. All right, let's get straight into the video. All right, so at number 5, we have a set that probably needs a little bit of an update, but it's still very effective, and that's Engine Guardian. Engine Guardian gives you, for the one piece, 129 health recovery. Pretty much worthless in PvP these days. And then for the second piece, when you use an ability that costs resource, you have a 25% chance to summon a Dwemer automaton to restore 550 stamina or magic, or 1955 health to you every 0.5 seconds for 6 seconds. This effect can occur once every 10 seconds. Now, I know it says once every 10 seconds, but it really feels like this little guy is up 24/7. Now, why is it so good? It's so good because it's a huge burst to resource management. And the little Dwemer actually allows you to kite behind it. In PvP, it's pretty funny watching people ultimate your little Dwemer following you. I don't know how many times I've seen like meteor spec bows hit the little guy behind me that's following me. It's very hilarious. So for that reason, it's on the list. It could use updated, and it could be so much better if they just changed like the one piece to a dual mag stam recovery. Man, the set might be a lot higher for me, but the health recovery is worthless in PvP these days. So until they buff health recovery again, it will be a lot lower. And it also just, even though it's a lot of utility, it's not giving you quite as much as other sets are, because you can't determine which resource you're going to get. And so it's like a surprise, and it's fun that way too, right? Sometimes you're getting the health and you really need stamina because you can't break free. Sometimes you need magic because you need a heal. And you're getting stamina. So it just kind of goes that way, but it is a very fun set, and if you've never used it for open world PvP, I definitely suggest you checking it out. All right. So number 4, we have Zoals. Zoals is a really good monster set for like solo PvP. Or it's really good for like small group comp when you're going up against multiple enemies. So what it does, one piece gives you 1096 stam. Not worthless, but I mean, there's a lot better one pieces. When you break free, you release a wave of Watcher energy, causing enemies within 8 meters of you to become feared for 3 seconds. You also gain 34 weapon spell damage for each enemy feared up to 6 seconds. Up to 6 enemies, for 7 seconds. You know, the last part, it's nice getting the weapon and spell damage, but anytime you break free, you fearing enemies, that is very strong. And it allows you to kind of get away from a lot of things you wouldn't be able to get away from without that. I mean, most good players are going to set up their kills with a stun anyways. So the fact that they can't stun you without getting feared is very annoying. Alright, so for open world PvP 1vx, this is actually a really good set. It's very annoying. I've seen it on healers before in BGs. It's very annoying on them as well. If you're someone that just doesn't want to do, you know, the spell crafting and get like the Warden Charm, this is something that you could definitely invest in, and it would give you a similar result, and probably better for certain situations, because you would be much harder to kill, because every time you're getting stunned, you're popping it. And so that just allows you to get up and kite even more, turn around and burn someone down. Alright, so for number 3, we have Maarselok. Maarselok is one of those sets that, like, it just provides so much additional damage to enemies for you. So what does it do? Alright, so the one piece, 1096 stam. We've already kind of gone over this with our other set, but it's not like the best, right? The second piece, when you deal damage with a melee heavy attack, you spawn a Cone of Corruption, dealing 1492 damage to enemies over 4 seconds. This damage is increased by 10% for each negative effect they have, up to a maximum of 300%. This effect can occur once every 10 seconds and goes off the higher of your weapon and spell damage. So if you're running like a status effect dot build in PvP, open world PvP, this is one of the few sets that you're gonna run, and it's just gonna slam your damage super high. So what you could do is run like Rallying Cry on the back bar. You could run like Draugr on the front bar. You could run, this is a monster set. You could run another really good mythic for this would be, you would run like Malakaths. That's the set. You would run Malakaths, and then you would just dot people up crazy heavy. All right, and you know the crit chance you're getting from Rally Cry doesn't really help your offense very much because of Malakaths, but it is helping your defense because you're going to be able to heal more. And so on a few dot setups that are still left out here, Maarselok is very strong. And I know, you know, it's not really a dot meta, but dots can really still kill people very easily, especially if they're not paying attention to their health bar. All right, so for number 2, we have Roksa. Roksa is a crazy sustain monster helm. So for the one piece, it gives you 70 magic, stam, and health recovery. For the second piece, each second you are in combat, you gain a stack of dark light, up to 30 stacks max. Each stack of dark light increases your stamina, magic, and health recovery by 8. For each second you are out of combat, you lose a stack of dark light. Alright, so what is this actually giving you? It's giving you, for the second piece, 240 magic and stam recovery, plus 70 for the first piece. So like 310 magic and stam and health recovery before buffs, and that's going to go way up, you know, for your sustain. So a lot of people can get like 15%, and then they can also get the 30% from the potion. So that's a huge boost in recovery overall, and it really allows you to do like a lot of things. Sustain is king, especially solo. Like if you can't sustain on your build, you're just gonna die. So the more sustain you have, the better. A lot of times, not at the sacrifice of damage, but especially when you're newer to a character, you want to out sustain more than anything. All right, so for number 1, it's Balorgh, of course. You know, this is the biggest carry monster set in the game right now. It allows you to virtually run lower damage setups and still have a crazy amount of damage, okay? I mean, I know people that don't even run mythics, and they just have Rally Cry on the back bar. They have like an arena weapon on the front bar, and Balorghs and Pariah is their setup, and they still do damage. Why? Because Pariah goes off your ultimate, okay? So every time you pop an ultimate, let's start with the one piece actually. 129 weapon and spell damage. Zoal. Can we please get more monster sets to look just like that? Alright? Unless you're gonna buff stamina and buff magic in some kind of way, just give like Maarselok and all these other monster sets the 129 weapon and spell damage. That would be great. Alright, so for the second piece, when you use an ultimate ability, you gain weapon and spell damage equal to the amount of ultimate used, and physical and spell penetration equal to 23 times the ultimate amount for 12 seconds. Now, what does this mean? So essentially, if you have a 500 Balorgh's ultimate, you're gonna have around 500 weapon and spell damage and around 11,000 penetration, and that is for 12 seconds. And for 12 seconds you're gonna hit extremely hard, okay? And it allows you to get away with things you wouldn't be able to get away with beforehand. You're gonna run this on bombing setups, ganking setups. You're gonna run this on just regular Zerg setups. You're gonna run this on dueling setups. You're gonna run this on 1vx setups. Anything this can fit into a build. There's not a single PvP build that cannot use Balorghs. Now, sometimes you don't need Balorghs. Sometimes you have plenty of damage. and in that case you can use one of the other monster sets. But damage is king and sustain is the next king, so you can always have more damage on a build. Now, because I know I'm gonna be asked, these are my top 5 dueling monster helms. Kajarna's Nightmare is definitely probably the best. I mean, it provides 2 things. It's a free stun, but if you stun the enemy before the stun comes, it just explodes them with damage. It's basically another spec bow. Zon's is a huge pressure monster set. It just provides so much free pressure. Gerald, you're a weirdo if you run it, but it is very strong. You're either a Zergling or someone that just has too much of an ego when it comes to PvP and you're just scared to lose, so you run it, but it is very strong. Maarselok, of course, because of the dot pressure that it can provide, but it has been power crept by other sets over the years for dueling specifically. And then Balorghs. Anytime you can add damage in duels, it's a good thing. So those are my top 5 monster sets for dueling as well. And then let's go over a couple honorable mentions.
Alright, so the honorable mentions are Nibbity Bay, which is pretty cool because it gives you the 424 crit resistance on the one piece. That's actually really good for PvP. And then anytime you are pulled or knocked back or someone uses a teleport ability on you, you gain a 15,000 damage shield, which is really strong because it's actually unaffected by battle spirit. You get that damage shield exactly what it says. It's very good if you like running in big groups and stuff. It's going to keep you from getting bombed as much. Now, notice I didn't say at all, because Vicious Death will still kill you, absolutely, and so will Cult Overload. If everyone dies, you're going to die too. Which is why I don't really like to run it as much because of that. But it also gives you, when you're not pulled, it gives you a 5% damage mitigation to players, which is pretty nice. And then we have Bloodspawn. Bloodspawn gives you 129 stam recovery for the first piece. I really wish it was stam and mag recovery, but once again, it's one of the older sets, so it probably needs to be reworked. And then when you take damage, you have a 6% chance to generate 13 ultimate. Really nice if you're running the Earth and Heart skill line, by the way. And increase your physical and spell resistance by 3,731 for 5 seconds. This effect can occur once every 5 seconds. I wish the chance was higher. And I wish that their cooldown was like every 2 or 3 seconds, and then you could have a much bigger viability out of this. But it's been power crept over the years, but it's a super OG set that a lot of people still run. All right. So that's going to conclude the video. Thank you very much for clicking on the video and checking out the channel. Once again, do me a favor, like, comment, subscribe, and share. I will definitely keep posting more content like this in the near future. If you guys have any suggestions for anything you want to see, please leave it in the comment section below. I will be working on a 1-bar DK video here soon per request. So for that subscriber that wanted the build video, just know it will be dropping within the next week. And until next time, it's your boy Klausman out.